Hiya, howdy, welcome back, Ratlings. I'm Paranoid Rat, and I'll be your tour guide for today, so please keep all arms and rat tails inside the vehicle at all times. Hello, sorry for this being hella late. Once again, been burnt out and tired and doing life things, but we're here now, however late we are here and we are alive. And this week, we are redesigning the owl house, or again, it's kind of less of a redesign and just kind of like how I would draw them in my style, I suppose. But of course, we have to start off with Luce. I actually dressed up as her for Halloween a few years ago, and that was fun. I still have the hoodie t-shirt thing. I gotta pull out and do another Luce cosplay soon because I love her. I love the owl house so much. One of my first videos on this channel actually was making a hoodie mask for one of my friends for that said Halloween. Please don't watch it. It is very old and I might die. But yeah, so if you've been around for a bit, you know that I love little details in my character designs, which is kind of why I love doing redesigns of cartoons, because it leaves so much room for like embellishments and just extra details while it's still looking like the original character. A while ago, I actually started working on like a cosplay concept slash redesign of Luce to be like a grungier and more like she was actually living in the demon realm. I wanted to try and find those drawings for this video because I thought they were cool, I thought you might like them, but I somehow lost that entire sketchbook and I have no clue where it is, so I'm just going to be pulling from what I remember from that, I guess. One thing that I always made me laugh in this show is how Luce is wearing her classic like clean white shoes, and through it all somehow didn't get them dirty once. So I did trade those out for high top Converse, which she does wear later in the show. I wanted to mix in pieces from her other looks into her like most recognizable outfit, I suppose. So she still has like the iconic Luce look that we all know and love, but just spiced up a little bit. When I was doing my design a while ago, I gave her these like bone shin guards that she kind of gets in her later form in the show. I mean, I feel like it makes sense given the world, and having shin guards would not be a bad thing. And also the bones look cool because there's like kind of a lot of bones around there, so I feel like that would be a cool concept. I also gave her a Albert inspired shoulder pad and hip pack for the, you know, owl theme. On top of her shoulder pad, I included on the strap of her shoulder pad, I included the like circular symbol thing that we see on her final design in the show. I also put the pins that she has on her beanie that she wears a lot, on her iconic cat hoodie thingy. I adore all of her later and other designs, and I considered leaning heavier into those, but her season 1 look is by far the most recognizable, so I went in that direction. I made her shoes purple to match the color palette I already had going, so they didn't like stray too far from what I already had, but I don't know if purple was the right color. It's fine, I guess, but I feel like another color would have been cuter. This design came really naturally. I love this character and I love this show, and already having like a small, like a little bit of like redesign ideas circling in my brain made this one feel really streamlined and easy. I'm so happy with it, and it was so much fun revisiting the show. It's been one of my favorite shows for years. It is so good. I love it. I assume if you're watching this, you've watched it, but if you have not seen it, please go watch it now. Like, leave this video and go watch that show right now, because it is so good. Alright, now, I can't do an Owl House video without, of course, drawing Ida. Ida is honestly an amazing character. I adore her so much. But, Rain Whispers is probably my favorite character in the entire show, so I had to include them. So I drew them together because they're cute and I love them, and this is my video so I can do whatever I want. I struggled so much with the posing, Ida especially, but I finally found something that worked. Like Luce, I wanted to keep her iconic season 1 look, but also wanting to tie in pieces from her later designs because they are so cool. I love the waistcoat look from her later design, which I incorporated into her dress thing. It took a really long time to decide on how I wanted to draw her dress because I changed the cut of it and had her in a more interesting pose. How I would normally draw her like season 1 dress, it would have like looked really awkward in this pose. But I like the pose, I wanted to keep the pose. Many different ways to draw this dress, but I finally settled on this like open front look with the pants that I feel like it works. I feel like it'd be really cool to also give her harpy features, as like, you know, a homage to her harpy form. I love drawing like inhuman legs and feet, so that was fun. I did wrap some like bandages and cloth around her feet for some extra protection, and because I love adding bandage wraps to designs because it's fun. I thought about playing with her hair more. I've seen a lot of drawings of her with like shorter hairstyle or with her putting it into a bun or ponytail, which always looks super cute. But I think Ida was meant to have a massive mane of gray hair that's basically an entity of its own at this point. I gotta love a wild woman. Then we also have Rain. I was struggling more with their design because I wanted these designs to be a bit more leaning towards their season 1, season 2 looks. And I adore Rain's like final design. It's perfect. So I tried to incorporate some small aspects from it into this design that I'm doing now, but they're very subtle. It's a small detail, but I really love the stars on like the collar of their shirt. I think they're super cute. Makes it feel a little bit more magical and whimsical, which I love. I didn't feel like I had to change their design a ton either. I like it, and this redesign is more focused around Ida. Rain is just a bonus, and because I want an excuse to draw them again, because, again, I love Rain. I also love how perfectly their color palettes work together. Like, usually when I draw multiple characters together, I have to be very intentional about which colors I use, and I have to adjust them a lot so they all fit cohesively together. But these two are quite literally made for each other in every sense. The romances in this show are some of my favorite. They always find a way to subvert expectations, and they never feel like two characters being forced together. Like, they feel more like accidents that just evolved over time, and I really love that. Hunter and Willow is another one of my favorites. Unfortunately, they didn't make it into this video, but if this video does well and I do another one, you bet your ass I'm gonna draw them. No one can stop. Okay, and so of course I had to draw Amity. Out of all of these drawings, this one was probably my least favorite and the one I changed the most. I really don't like Amity's designs earlier in the show, which are unfortunately the most iconic ones. But while looking for references, I found one with this like super cool Victorian and kind of steampunky dress, and I used that as my main inspiration. I felt like it was fitting, giving it like the whole like abomination magic aesthetic she kind of has going on. And again, it was a lot prettier than her original look, and I didn't want to draw it like season 1 Amity. I also tried to make her body type a bit closer to her mother's. Her mother sucks, but I wanted to make her look a bit more like her. I did play around with putting her hair up, but it made her look too much like her mother, and since her hair is kind of her like rebellion against her family, I felt like keeping it loose and kind of messy was the best choice. I would have loved to do like 2 designs for her. It's like more formal and clearly like abomination magic themed one, but also one that's closer to her look at like the end of the series, because her design in the finale is just perfection. I think something that's also bothering me about this design is the lack of details and contrast. The colors and tones don't have enough contrast for my liking, and I wish I would have added more details and patterns to make it a bit more visually interesting. One thing I will celebrate is that both of the hands turned out very good, and that is a win. I had my struggles with them, but I think they look nice, and the rendering at the end just brings them all together so perfectly. I love it when I draw a good hand. On these designs, I was so torn whether or not to include their familiars, and I wish I would have drawn her with her little cat. I feel like that would have made this like piece a lot stronger with just like something else. Amity was never really one of my favorite characters, to be honest. I love her, don't get me wrong, I love everything in the show, but I never really was obsessed with her as I was with other characters in the series. But all in all, it's not a bad design, I just don't love it, knowing that I could have done better. Those are the designs for this week. I hope you enjoyed this. Apologies for the delay. I've had a lot going on, and my YouTube and art has kind of taken the back burner during that time. In the comments, feel free to tell me which of these designs was your favorite, or who your favorite characters are from the show. I've adored the show for years, and I had so much fun getting to do some fan art for you guys and ramble on about these silly little characters. If you enjoyed this video and you want to join my rat army, you can find me on my other socials, and we now have a Paranoid Rat Discord server, which I will link in the description for anybody who wants to join. I'll be back as soon as I can with more art for y'all. Till then, ciao!